The only way I know how to make films is to hustle like hell and get them made independently. I'd love an investor to show up with a checkbook. Seriously, I would like that. If you're an investor, hit me up. But the only times I've had success with a film is when there was a ton of grunt work. My feature-length documentary, Coming Out, started out with a GoPro 1 in my college dorm room, and it ended up winning awards at festivals around the world, getting legit press, and landing a distribution deal. My short film Femme blew through its Kickstarter goal, won Best Comedy Awards while playing at over 40 festivals worldwide, and is now being adapted to series by Reverie, with Rachel Brosnahan attached as executive producer. Femme, Coming Out, and now The Robosexual are all strategized in similar ways. Hello, I'm Alden. I'm a filmmaker who's documenting the process of making a sci-fi short film, so you can learn from all of our successes and failures along the way, showing you how it's done, not telling you. This week, it's how to plan and strategize your short film.
So I was thinking a while ago, should I do another short film or am I ready to do a first feature? And I was going back and forth and back and forth. I read this advice probably once on Reddit where somebody's advice was, if you're doing another short, like, why are you doing a short? Are you showing something new? Are you showing that you can do a different genre? Otherwise, if you're just making the same kind of short over and over again, like if you were just doing rom-coms, it's time to show that you can do that format, but at a bigger scale. With that logic, that kind of made doing another short make sense, especially doing a sci-fi piece with visual effects. I think it shows like a different ability as a filmmaker. It shows my writing, it shows my directing in a new genre, and it allows me to say, oh, I can do sci-fi instead of I would like to do sci-fi. And so in that sense, the goal or the intention of this short film is to explore this intersection where I am, which is this intersection of like geek, nerd culture, sci-fi stuff, and also a queer person interested in history and the context of different social movements and disparities in those movements. Having that intention is very helpful because it helps me not get lost in the details along the way.
So I sat down with Benno Rosenwald, the producer of Femme and The Robosexual, to talk about our strategy for making both of those films. When you're doing like an indie project, like a short film, what is sort of like the normal process from beginning to end, from fundraising to packaging, doing it for cheap?
There's so many different ways to do everything. That's what is beautiful and interesting about the entertainment industry, is that there are so many different ways to skin a cat, and there's no one path to creating something. Sometimes I wish there was, so that it would be slightly easier. For me, independent work is all about telling a story that you want to tell, not just creating an independent work because you want to create an independent work. A lot of people work that way. A lot of people want to just have as many projects as possible. That's not how I work. How I work is there is a story that I want to tell. There is a story that someone I believe in wants to tell, and I also believe in the story. Therefore, I'm going to give my time and put my effort into something that I believe in. So that's the first step. The first step is finding that idea and finding that passion for a story. And then from there, you find the financing, you find the team. Those two are sort of interchangeable. You can find the team and then find the financing and use the team to find the financing. Once you have that financing locked in, you push as fast as possible and hard as possible to get it done. And then you do the post-production process. Then you go to festivals and you pray to God people like it as much as you do. And then there you are.
For fundraising, I've always turned to crowdfunding. Indiegogo or Kickstarter. Way back in film school, we weren't given a budget allotment, or at least not a very big budget allotment for our films. So we were doing Kickstarter and Indiegogo campaigns from the beginning. So it's kind of like been ingrained in me as part of this process is like, okay, it's gonna cost thousands of dollars to make this film. How do I get thousands of dollars? Kickstarter. You know, the Kickstarter campaign has two goals. One is the money, but two is an audience. You're building this audience of people who are excited to see the project and are passionate about the project so that when the project starts being exhibited in film festivals, you have people that are eager to see it and eager to create a buzz around your project.
So here's our plan for The Robosexual. Launch a Kickstarter, assemble a crew, cast the film, find locations, costumes, props, etc., shoot the film, edit the film, submit it to film festivals, and hope it resonates like Femme did and leads to a series or a feature.
Deaths and hospitalizations are now reaching heights above what was thought to be the peak of the pandemic.
Well, okay. I guess this film is going to look a little different.
I don't think it is the smartest and best idea for us to go into production in the middle of a pandemic when we don't know from day to day what's going to happen. And just in terms of looking at production costs, it's just honestly cost prohibitive for us to go forward at this time.
So we have to re-strategize everything.
I do have an idea of a way that we could continue pushing forward this project.
The solution was to take the first scene from the script and shoot it as a proof of concept. It's super short, it's small, it's self-contained. In a pinch, it's probably a scene that would have been cut. So it's the one that I proposed to Benno that we shoot as a proof of concept. So I'm going to rewrite that first scene so that it can stand on its own. And the plan is that I'm just gonna pay for it out of pocket and do it obviously as cheaply as possible. And then we just have to, once we get all that stuff made, I guess we just have to wait and see what happens with COVID. See how a vaccine is gonna be distributed, see if it's gonna be safe to be on set. So it's definitely not a concrete plan like I would like to strategize, but I guess these are uncertain times. So the big question though is, if we shoot a proof of concept and end up with a 3 to 4 minute short film, does it make sense to then try to raise money to do another just longer short film? Or do we try to skip that step and go straight to a feature? Applying that logic from before, what would the full short film show that the mini proof of concept short film doesn't show? I mean, I guess it's storytelling ability, and that with 15 minutes, it shows what kind of story we can tell in that amount of time versus within 4 minutes. I guess when we come back and do a full Kickstarter, we can prove what we're able to do with little to no money. And so it's not just a pitch for an ambitious sci-fi project. It's no, we can pull this off. Look, we did pull this off. So now imagine what we can do with a bit more money. We have our immediate next steps, which is to do this proof of concept. And to start, I'm gonna have to assemble a crew. So, what they say on YouTube, subscribe and hit the bell for notifications, because the next production diary is gonna be about the awesome and super incredibly talented crew that we assembled.